All right, Aveline is back. Liberation XD. Sir, tell us about XD. What can we expect from Aveline this time round?
Well, what we're doing with Liberation HD is we're bringing Aveline's story from the Vita to a much wider audience. We're releasing the game on PSN, XBLA, and PC early next year, and we are telling Aveline's story. But what we actually did is that we spent a lot of time improving all aspects of the game. So we have the graphical improvement that you would expect, but we have new rendering methods. We have linear lighting plus HDR lighting, and this thing compared with the implementation of a dynamic change of the day, now you get to experience all areas of the game in a much different fashion. All the characters are updated, their skeletons and rigs are updated, animations are polished. This is combat animations and navigation animations. We implemented absolutely new rig for the facial animation, redid all the camera works in more than an hour of cinematics, and we created the facial animation there from scratch, and it was all done by hand.
How long have you guys been working on this for?
Well, we've been working on Liberation, I don't know, it's 3 years now. That's the game, and we started to work on Liberation HD right after we finished the Vita version, and we are very glad and happy to have that opportunity to tell the story of Aveline, because this is the same original team. So when we started working on that, every single man and girl that has been working on the Liberation, everyone had his own thing that he wanted to address, you know, that he wanted to improve. So now you have it. You have the graphical side on all sides. Plus we went in all the missions. And we redid and remastered all the mission design on the main path and on the side content as well. We already had a lot of data stored from playtests. We had our own desires, what we wanted to change in the missions. Plus we looked at all the reviews and the comments that we had from the community, summed this thing together, sorted all the missions according to different properties, and we went in every single mission and we addressed the issues there. So if the mission was not fun or there was a tedious element to it, that thing was removed and changed with more gameplay inside, or things that would make the mission more engaging or more fun. Or maybe you want that NPC there scratching his head or looking around or just getting in your way in a funny way. If the mission was, if there were difficulty problems, we addressed all those with the difficulty ramp up and implemented a new set of tutorials throughout the whole game in order to make sure that all the mechanics and combat mechanics and navigation mechanics are introduced properly and gradually. And also we redesigned all the encounters. So in every mission we make sure that the difficulty, moves at a steady pace.
You guys have done your homework. Is this more Liberation 2.0 rather than just XD?
It's the Liberation, the console version.
It's a good sell, good sell. So I mean, did you guys have a whiteboard at the studio, and you're just going, right, every review we read, we're okay, mark this up, mark this up, mark this up, and just you work your way down it?
Well, a whiteboard wouldn't be enough. It was too small. Every team had a whiteboard, yeah. And then with all the feedback that we got from the community, from forums, from reviews, and we do extensive playtesting as well, which means having people in a lab that they play the game, normal players, and we gather data, and then we have interviews with them, so we know how we have a lot of data.
By the sounds that you guys had things you wanted to change yourselves, but was there anything from the feedback, certainly post-launch, like you said, for reviews, that surprised you? I mean, was there anything you didn't expect to see?
Well, surprises not, I wouldn't say surprises, but there were a lot of good points. Things that me personally I hadn't seen. Just off the top of my head, one of the interviews earlier, one of the journalists asked me, "Are you going to put in maps of the collectibles in the game?" Because we have 6 or 5 types of collectibles, and not all of them have maps. So what we saw in a couple of months' time after the release, the community, they were making maps. They were taking screenshots and they were laying out every single collectible. So these are the comments that we got, and they are really good ideas, so we made sure that we got this into account.
Must be interesting to have that sort of incredibly passionate fan base then feeding back to you guys about what they want to see.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very, I don't know, humbling, and this is what makes it worthwhile.
I ask you about out early next year, yes? Yeah. Well, in terms of where this is coming, because Liberation felt like a beautiful sort of companion piece to Assassin's Creed 3. At the point the game comes out, we'll have Black Flag out already. I mean, how are you guys sort of approaching sort of almost debuting this game again with that particular time frame in mind?
I don't think the time frame is any problem. We are releasing it early next year. We have a kick-ass character. It's fully digital. I don't see a problem there.
Well, what about I mean, can you talk about how big, size-wise, download size at all? Can you talk about that?
About Liberation.
Yeah.
Scope of Liberation is merely it's fairly the same as it was on Vita, which means a big game. Still, it's Assassin's Creed game. You have the main path. If you are fast, it will take you somewhere around 8 hours. And if you go through, we have 50 now more with side missions. And we have all that collectibles I was talking about and special outfits if you go with the collectibles, and you have achievements and all that fancy jazz. So it will easily take you more than 20 hours.
Talking about achievements, that was the next question. This obviously was a Vita game. It's now coming on Xbox 360. How have you guys approached achievements?
How should we? We redesigned them. I mean, PSN and Xbox, they have different rules for achievements, you know, scoring, stuff like that. So we just redesigned them.
Between now and launch, what have you guys got left? Is it just a case of polishing things more?
Between now and launch, we're continuing improving the game. We are in testing now, so there's a lot of bug fixing that goes on. But there's a bug and a bug. I mean, a lot of the bugs are now really polishing stuff. Plus, we are not. We are putting tasks of things that we'd like to improve still, so we have plenty of time to, you know, to make that extra quality push.
Like you said, you've been working on the project this number of years. I mean, personally for you, is there anything that stands out during that development phase, even the original or the HD version, that you're personally proud of?
A lot of things.
Is that too much? Too broad question.
Oh, I don't know. See if I understand correctly. If there's something particularly in the whole game that I'm proud of.
Yeah, in the game or during the development process, you can look back on and go, you know what, that to me is that.
I'm proud of the team of Ubisoft, yeah. The way that team worked and the way that we were able to create Aveline. I think she's our biggest achievement. And I'm really proud with that character. It's the first female assassin.
Will we ever see her again?
I certainly hope so.
Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.
Our liberation is upon us.